All right, well, looks like we're live. Welcome, Tick Nation, to the Inner Circle's premier PlayStation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin, and we've got the British Beef on with me. How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, it's going very well, Kevin. Looking forward to the two-man show tonight. Our brother Nick is down at the moment, but we wish him all the best and wish whatever's going on with him very much well, and hope it all goes well for him. So much love to my brother Nick.
Yeah, definitely. As some of you may notice, the King of Indies himself is not here. He's taking care of a family emergency, but like Chris said, we do wish him the very best. And I'm sure he will be on next episode. So look forward to that. With that, I'm pretty sure most people could probably guess we're going to be talking about the Destiny 2 beta. But before we jump into that, I just had a few PlayStation-centric reminders. First of all, know that it is coming close to the end of the month. So if you haven't snagged your free PlayStation Plus games, you should probably go ahead and do that. I believe the new games are either coming out next week or the following week. I think it's next week, though, since next Tuesday is the 1st of August.
Yes, normally the first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, so that should be next Tuesday. So you've got a little less than a week now to snag your free games. Chris, do you happen to remember what those free games are? I actually don't remember.
Life is Strange. Isn't that one of them this month?
I think so.
I know Until Dawn as well.
Oh, Until Dawn, and is it Game of Thrones? I want to say it's Game of Thrones.
It is. Yeah. I'm a month behind myself. That makes a lot of sense, being that we've just started Game of Thrones new season, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
doing a bit of a push with it on the store in the UK. I don't know if they're doing that in the States, where they've got money off all the series. I don't know if they've got that pushing in this.
That I don't know. I know we've got PlayStation 4-week sale where there are a bunch of new indie titles that are getting discounted, like Pyre that released today on the PlayStation Store had a discount if you pre-ordered. I think you got 10% off. They have a bunch of different deals like that. So, but yeah, make sure you go and snag your PlayStation Plus games before those disappear. Switching gears, also, if you did not know, there is PlayStation Network beta for update 4.5 that we think is going to deal with PlayStation Now, since it requires you to disclose whether you have a PlayStation Now subscription or not. So for those who are interested in participating in that, if you have PlayStation Now, first question is, why do you have PlayStation Now? But second question, or second thing is, you should probably go and sign up to be a part of the beta program. I'm pretty sure the program is going to start up here in a couple of weeks. So they give you up until the day that it's launching to apply to be part of the beta program. So yeah, definitely try to.
It was very. I was going to say it was really interesting because you had the option of signing up for it if you had Now or not at all. So they didn't even give you a second option. It was you either got Now and you're in, or you're not at all, which I thought was really odd. I thought it was quite strange that you were either in.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was really weird because I tried signing up for it, and when I realized the checkbox was it's required, you have to fill this out. If you have it, then I was like, well, I don't, so I'm not going to fill this out. I guess I'm not taking part in this one. But that is why to believe that the next update is going to be some type of overhaul. Now we don't know if that is in response to their competitors' Games Pass program, or if this was a planned overhaul that just happened to coincide with the timing. But that out in the coming week,
Do you think
2
it'll be
months,
part of PS?
because I assume. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think it'll be part of PS? Sorry, mate. Do you think it'll be part of PS Now? PS Plus?
I don't think so, as much as I would like that. I just feel like they want to try to make as much money out of that thing as possible. Although I feel like into PlayStation Plus, and that would entice more people to purchase PlayStation Plus.
I'm really tempted to give it a go. I'm really tempted. I checked the my broadband speed, and it said that it was very good for it. So I'm quite tempted to give it a go, just to see what it's like more than anything else. I mean, I know it's got a lot of bad press, but I guess it depends on how good your internet connection is. I mean, I see Digital Foundry did a very interesting video that the lag is pretty good. Pretty good, if you know what I mean. It's pretty good because it's not really
right.
that good. But yeah, I'm very interested, very tempted by it. I think it's like a week-long trial, but it'll be one of those things where you say yes to it, and it'll be an absolute nightmare to try and cancel it, probably.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I would be cautious going into it. I feel like PlayStation Now is really good with games that don't require timing. So like not your fighters, because that requires like really precise timing. Otherwise, you're going to miss a dodge or miss a combo opportunity, things like that, or things like with quick time events. So probably not a God of War.
Yeah, I mean, they tested Street Fighter, and I think that wasn't too bad, but you know, it'll be interesting to see. I might give it a go this week.
All right, cool. Then you can report back to us and see if let us know if it's worth it or not. But yeah, moving on to our last topic before going on to Destiny 2 beta. If you guys did not know, I know a couple weeks ago I talked about that I participated in the Lawbreakers closed beta for. They announced today an open beta available starting so this Friday, continue until Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. So you've got a whole weekend to play Lawbreakers if that is something that you are interested in. And yeah, I mean, I will advocate for it. I think it's a great game. I think it's a great alternative if you were turned off by the cartoon nature of Overwatch. The in combat that they are touting as one of their taglines is really changes up how you address combat and how you address map flow. So it kind of puts on the first-person shooter. So I highly advocate for it, and I will probably be playing. So yeah.
You're a big fan of it, Kev, weren't you? You really were.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about it other than Cliffy B's involvement in it, and I didn't even realize.
Yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. Playing the game, I am a huge advocate for it. It's a really solid game. Here's the thing: if Overwatch were not on the scene, I'm pretty sure this game would have a mantle in that space. I still think it does have a mantle in that space. It just has a smaller piece of the pie, just because of how over the top Overwatch is, in terms of having a year out and just this huge fanfare behind it. I mean, that is what comes to the Blizzard game. But I think everybody should at least give it a shot. It's especially now that it's an open beta. I really like the twist on all of the game types, and yeah, I mean, this is also a chance for people to help do a last minute balancing thing for them. Give it a try, and if you do enjoy it, let us know on our Twitter page at trophylife_pod.
Because also you get a commission for everyone that buys it, don't you, Kev?
Oh, absolutely. No, I don't. Please don't. I wish.
Hey,
but yeah, I'm really tempted. I haven't pre-ordered the game yet, but I'm really tempted to. The only reason I haven't yet is because I know a month later, sinking my teeth into Destiny 2, which happens to be the topic of today's show. So before we get into that, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button. Or if you think we need to improve some things, go ahead and let us know in the comments that, you know, what we should probably improve on. Always happy to learn. Yeah, we'll go from there. So,
Kev, quick question about Lawbreakers. How much is it in the States? Because it's only about £25 in the UK, so it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, Lawbreakers is $29.99 here in the States for the base edition, and then there's a box edition that is $10 more. And with that, you just get like a buttload of extra skins and stuff like that I don't think you can get elsewhere. So it's $40 for the deluxe edition, but $30 for just the standard thing, and that is the free DLC rollout. Other than that, like, they've got microtransaction loot boxes, but you can get all of the stuff just by playing the game. It just obviously takes longer, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
that's
cool,
the
cool.
crux of it.
So yeah, like you, I'm kind of waiting for the big boy to come. I'm waiting for that juicy Destiny 2, especially after the beta we've just played, which leads you nicely to
Destiny 2 beta. So tell me what you've been playing as. Like, did you play all of the classes? Did you go with what you mained in Destiny 1? Tell me everything, Chris.
So I was a Titan in Destiny 1, and I thought I'd give Titan a go on Destiny 2 beta. I only played with the Titan. My time was fairly limited because I went on holiday this weekend. So I thought, right, I want to try the baby I'm actually going to play with, and see how that goes. I really wanted to try the Sentinel class, which I was very, very impressed with, very pleased with. And it took me a while just to kind of get used to that. If you hold down the buttons, you come up with a full shield like you would do previously. But if you only tap them, you come up with the new kind of Captain America style shield. So it took me a while to kind of get used to that. And also building up some of the if you hold down circle, it allows you to bring up like a shield almost in front of you, which is very, very handy. And you can have the option to have it like a full body cover, or a kind of well, I dare to say a Gears of War kind of style cover, duck and cover. But the best thing about that one is that it reloads your gun as soon as you duck down underneath it for you. So it was incredibly handy when it came to PvP. So I think they might be doing some fine tuning on that. But I played everything that I possibly could, minus the farm, because I was on holiday and I missed that, unfortunately. I logged on yesterday, or this morning, trying to see if I could get it just before the beta went down. And unfortunately, I missed out on the farm, which I was pretty gutted about. But you look like you had a good fun time on the farm.
Yeah, I did. What I didn't like is the fact that they only put the farm up for an hour on Sunday.
Was it only an hour? Wow.
Yeah, it was only an hour. It was 1 p.m. Eastern. Really peculiar that they chose just a 1 hour time block for for the farm. They said they were doing server load and stuff like that, which is fine. But yeah, I just thought it was really weird. I felt like they should have at least left it open from now, since they extended the duration of the beta to tonight. It's actually about to end in the next 45 minutes, I believe. Yeah, so the farm was fun though. Went on the soccer field, football field for the rest of the world, should I say?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There. That was really cool. When you score a goal, there are fireworks that come out of the goal, which is amazing. And I definitely ended up having a dance party in the middle of the ball field.
Does it keep score? So does it kind of do like a mini game or something? Does it?
Unfortunately, no. Which I was playing with one of my friends, and he actually pointed that out, saying like they should have had like a score board. But I guess it's kind of hard to do that, especially when like you've got random people that'll just hop onto the field and like screw with a game if you didn't have like a dedicated game going on. Yeah,
that might be something they add a bit, like kind of like the Sparrow Racing or something like that. Maybe they'll add in the ability.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they did that. Yeah.
So what did you think of the campaign?
Well, let me go back quickly to classes.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. I played all 3 classes. So I went through and did the story campaign 3 times to play each of the classes, which I did mainly because I realized that in my 3 years of playing Destiny, the 375 hours that I have logged in, those are dedicated to a Titan or Hunter. 360 are me playing as a Warlock. So I was like, I should probably try and give these other classes a chance.
What do you think?
So I'll start with the Titan first, since you started with the Titan. I liked the Striker Titan. Striker Titan is really fun, especially now that his super is a roaming super.
Yeah.
Did not like definitely. Captain America. I did not like the Captain America shield.
It took a bit of getting used to.
Yeah, I will say, it took a bit of getting used to in terms of activating your super, because like if you hold it down just a hair too long than you meant to, that pops out.
Yes.
Versus America, I feel like is split the 2 and let you choose which one of the 2 you want.
Yes, definitely. In like the sub menu, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer that. I understand why they didn't go that route, but I feel like that would help me in terms of not like holding down way too long, or
I think for me, I would get way too excited and just hold it down naturally. It's one of those, I don't know, it's one of those things where you just think, yeah, I'm coming to get you, so you just hold it down. So for me, I completely agree. I mean, if they put it on the sub menu as a separate thing, kind of like what they did with, like I was saying, when you hold down circle and it does something for you, like you could select that. So I don't know why you couldn't do that with the super.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like if they just let you choose which one you wanted, I think that would be a lot better, in my opinion. I just didn't feel like I was useful as playing as, like, going around trying to hit things like Captain America did not prove very useful to me. I remember I was playing the story campaign trying to use it, and I got wrecked both times. Like the Cabal just like shredded me, and clearly that's not the class's fault per se. That's my lack of understanding of how to use the class. But that also was just very frustrating because I feel like the classes shouldn't be that. It shouldn't have like a crazy, and I shouldn't say it has a crazy learning curve, but I will say it does have a bit of a learning curve in comparison to other supers. So I did not like that, but I like the Striker Titan, so he was fun.
Yeah.
I used the Hunter, the new Arc Strider that my friend group we all call the pole dancer, is a lot of fun, and I think I like it a lot better than the Arc class in Destiny 1, the Arc Blade. I think the Arc
Do you know what it
Strider
reminded me of? Robin from the Arkham games. You know, where he'd
yeah.
have the staff and he would bounce around. That's exact. I was straight away, but the pole dancing thing is wonderful. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Our friend group, like when we're about to pop the super, my friend Peter, who is maining a Hunter, I believe he's maining a Hunter, always shouts out, "I'm about to start pole dancing," and then pops the super and just like annihilates the team. So it's always fun.
I was on the receiving end of a few of those, probably. I think.
So. But what I didn't like about the Hunter in general is their class ability. Like you were saying with the Titan, where you could pop, depending on which one you chose, either the short shield or the tall shield. You had a change, or you could switch between two different dodges.
Okay.
Like akin to a Shade Step, but super nerfed. Don't feel like the dodges were effective to any degree. I just did not like them. The second dodge is better than the first one. The first one kind of looks like just like a hop to the side. And I think that gun after you complete the dodge. And then the second one, if you dodge successfully, then it replenishes your melee. But I don't feel like it's very effective, both from a personal usage standpoint and from a team play standpoint. Mainly because with the Hunter and Warlock, both of their class abilities can be used for the benefit of the team. While the Hunter dodge is not helpful for anyone but the Hunter. And even at that, the cooldown for it is so long that you use it once, and then if you need to use it again shortly after, you're SOL. And I think they did that because obviously they didn't want to fall into the trap of Shade Step again. But I think the cooldown is still way too long for what that ability is. I definitely feel like it should be halved. But I also don't like the fact that it's not team centric, which again.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say is that I guess that when we start upgrading everything, like with the grenades and the punch and then the supers as well, in the Destiny 1, we had to, when we were upgrading our armor, we would get points to upgrade those as well. So the speed of the recharge, or the cooldown, I think they called it, improved. So I don't know whether it would be the same sort of thing with this, because I felt that would probably come in more in the actual game. And I think they've just given us a taster of it. And I think to try and I noticed in PvP that the recharge just seems to take forever.
And fair note on that, Luke Smith did come out and say that they have been doing fine tuning to a lot of those things, so it should be different in the final game, and that the beta is based off of an old build of the game. So that, I mean, that's take that for what you will. But yeah, and I do think you're right. I think some of those will come in the form of armor upgrades, in terms of things that will help cool down your abilities faster. So I do think you're right to to a certain point with that. I just it was not fun waiting for your abilities to recharge for as long as it took them. And obviously, I think they were trying to be on the safe side at that point in time because of what is currently happening in the Destiny meta. But yeah.
Yeah. So which one haven't we covered? So you've done Titan,
Warlock.
Cool.
Warlock, I'll be brief with that. I mean, the new super is fairly straightforward. It's literally the Sunbreaker, but you're flying, which is fun to some extent.
Is that the sword?
You're just throwing you're just throwing fire blades at people. So yeah, but it's relatively straightforward. And then the Nova Bomb is the same Nova Bomb you've known, like some new like little twists to it. So like the perk tree that they had in the beta allowed you to shoot your Nova Bomb after you used it, and you could detonate it early if you notice that the going past a cluster of enemies, and it would like go all crazy, and different mini Nova Bombs would track the enemies that way.
Yeah, I think once again, I think I was on the receiving end of a few of that from PvP. That's for sure. What was your weapon of choice?
And the tracking on that is crazy. I saw one video of this one where the Nova Bomb was just tracking this person all throughout the map. Like they were trying to dodge it, and it would not let them go.
Yeah, especially in countdown mode. I found that was really good when you were doing the bomb was in the like the little shop. And I used to that was horrendous. That somebody would literally just run in and shoot that, and then it would be like, oh, I've got to get away from this, and you just can't do it. And the only way you could do it was if you ran into one of your teammates, which was just a bit harsh. So
yeah.
But yeah. So what was your weapon of choice? Which weapon
of choice? So,
which Guardian did you end up with? Which would you say which was your preference for that before we do guns?
So
which one would you pick?
Well, so for classes, you mean? I'm going to main Warlock again. Just really like the feel of the Warlock, although to go Hunter, Pole Dancer. But I decided to refrain from that. Mainly because of the dodge roll. I can't get over the dodge with. I feel like it's a wasted class ability almost. And I feel like I'm more versatile as a Warlock with the Rift that lets you either heal or buff your team as long as they're in the Rift. But in terms of weapons, my PvE, liked the auto raffle, the Scatherlock.
Right. Yeah.
Or Scatherlock. And then for my secondary weapon, or my energy weapon, since they've changed them, it's kinetic, energy, and power weapons now. So Scatherlock was in my primary. The Risk Runner exotic for the Warlock was in my energy, and that was my favorite for PvE, just because the ability that procs on it, as once you if you get hit with arc damage, the arc conductor procs, and when that procs, you can just shoot an endless stream of machine gun or submachine gun ammo, and it just keeps on pulling ammo from your reserve as long as you are still being hit with arc damage. So there was one part of the strike where there was a lot of arc damage, and when I tell you I did not release the trigger for a solid 3 minutes because of just running around picking up energy ammo as I was burning it. And then it also does chain lightning on it. So like it's a mini Zalo Supercell from Destiny 1. Then the power weapon, I liked the shotgun. But
Definitely
what I will say is I didn't have
PvP.
Go ahead.
Definitely in PvP. I would say definitely shotgun in PvP. That was lethal. So
yeah.
Did you find
that? Yeah. In PvP, yeah, I'll agree. Shotgun was pretty good. Between the shotgun and the fusion rifle, depending on where I was in the story mission or the strike, I didn't use them a lot just because of the ammo scarcity for power weapons and some of the switches they did in PvE for power weapons. So that, so I didn't really use them nearly as much, so I can't really give a honest like look into it. But those were my favorites for PvE, and then PvP, I also used the Scatter Lock auto rifle in my kinetic slot. I used the Sunshot when I was playing as the Hunter. The Sunshot is such a good hand cannon.
Is that one of the exotic ones for that?
Yeah, that's the exotic solar hand cannon that came with the Hunter, and it has like solar burn and solar explosions when the enemy dies and things like that. So that, but it's also like really accurate. So I really like that. And again, like I said before, shotgun for PvP. What about you? What weapons did you?
Well, PvE, probably for the strike and the campaign. I think Sweet Business was a bit annoying, which was the Gatling gun. It was just crazy, especially with the barrier where you reloaded. You could get right down to the last couple, duck behind it again, reload. It was a monster. I found it was a bit too slow firing for PvP. So I went with a bit more of a submachine gun. I went with the Showrunner.
Okay.
I like to get in quite close when I'm doing PvP. I'm not a distance fighter at all. I would normally kind of go for a hand cannon or a submachine gun as my secondary class, my kinetic class. And then my power, I'd probably go shotgun. I used the grenade launcher quite a lot in the campaign, but I picked up a rocket launcher a bit later on. So I used that a little bit as well. So I'd probably go with those as my choice so far. But yeah, no, okay. I played around quite a lot with the different ones, and the auto rifles feel really good. They feel really good. I think they feel like a bit of an all-rounder. They feel pretty powerful, and they got a good sound on them as well. They've done some good sound design for this so far. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like in the actual game when you start getting the ones that, you start getting the exotics and start looking at the different ones that you just get normally as well. So yeah, interesting stuff. What did you prefer when it came to the Crucible? Was it Control or Countdown?
I preferred Countdown. I did not like the changes that were made to Control. That coupled with the fact that the matches went too quickly. So unless you were in there racking up kills every single game, never got your super. I can probably say about 80% of the games I played in Control, I did not get my super. That's just because it was based off of an old build. They've done tweaking to that, so hopefully that has been addressed. But at least in purposes for this beta, I didn't like the choices that they made to change Control, and I just found the competitive nature of Countdown better and more strategic, especially if you had a dedicated team you were running with.
Yeah, go on, Gav.
Good. I'm going to say, I had a dedicated team I was running with. And when I wasn't running in a team, I realized we were getting slaughtered way quickly. But the moment we were in a team and we were like, okay, we're on defense, let's split up. Half of us are going to market, half of us are going to rug, and running and then trying to adapt to how our opponent was playing. So if they were doing the same thing, then we would be like, okay, we're going to go down the middle to see which side that they're going to go toward. And then maybe we go up to rugs if they're all going up to rugs, or go to market. And there's just a lot more strategy and coordination that lends itself to team play with Countdown. And I just think Control is a weird state.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Countdown. I felt like games, like there were certain games where our team was like 3-0 down or 4-0 down, and we brought the game back and we won the game, 6-4, and I felt like it was just it felt really good. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed that Countdown. I quite enjoyed Control actually as well. I'm always a fan of a capture the flag game. I think if I had to pick on any of the kind of Call of Duties and all that sort of thing, I think I'd capture the flag is one of the things, because I seem to be the only person that goes for the flags rather than goes for the kills. And with the holding circle down barrier and Sweet Business, I could basically lay down covering fire for my team. So we would get to a flag, I'd put my shield up, and we'd look on the radar where the red dots were coming in, and I would just open up Sweet Business and just lay down covering fire. And then you'd get some people that be able to just run straight through it. So the tactic worked for a little bit, but it seemed to be pretty good. And see-through flags I like as well. I can cope with see-through flags.
Yeah.
Capture the flag. What are your thoughts on the strike?
Well, actually, before we go to the strike, I had one more question for you on PvP, which was, how do you like the change from 6v6 to 4v4?
I don't know. I think it depends on the size of the map.
Right.
So, as I said, I quite like a close quarters kind of fight. So that's why I'm a submachine gun, shotgun type guy. So if the map is small, then 4v4 is good. Sometimes it can get overcrowded a little bit. Personally, it doesn't make that much difference to me. I'll play it whatever it will be. But there are some games. There'll be some modes I think that will get really affected by it. And I think certain maps will not work too well because they need to make sure that the size of the maps are right for the 4v4. Are they doing 6v6 at all?
No, they're not.
Not at all.
They've confirmed that all game modes will be 4v4 across the board. Rumble will not be there anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
Skirmish won't be there. Things like that.
I think that's a shame. I think they might have to reconsider that. I think that they'll have to give the option of different game modes, different maps on the amount of people that they have per game. And yeah, I love me a bit of Rumble. That was just carnage when you didn't want to particularly go in and be a tactical shooter. Like I said, just the carnage.
Yeah, I mean,
bit of fun.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think they're going to have to go back and revise that at some point, because I do think that'll frustrate some people. But I, in terms of the change from 6v6 to 4v4, I don't like it from a continuity standpoint, mainly because from Destiny 1, you've already got, I have a friend group of 5 people that we would hop into like Iron Banner with,
Yeah.
or we would hop into, you know, whatever 66 game mode, because there are 5 of us that we normally play, and sometimes we have a 6th that rotates.
Yeah.
But now we're going to have to change all of that in how we play, because it's 4v4, so one person is always going to be left out.
Yeah.
Especially when like the strike is still three people teams, and then the raid in theory is still a 6-man team. It's just kind of weird to have that 4v4 in the middle there. But I mean, from a gameplay perspective, very well, and I think it will only help them with that map control that they didn't have a complete grasp on in Destiny 1. I think they'll be better equipped to sculpt maps that are perfectly fitted for 8 players as opposed to the 12.
Yeah.
So without it feeling too chaotic or not. So that's where I am on that.
And then the strike.
I thought that was actually really well done.
I enjoyed the strike a lot.
Yeah, I think it was really good. It kind of shows the way that they're going for Destiny 2. I mean, and we saw glimpses of this toward the end of Destiny 1 with the strike that they added to Rise of Iron, with all the Taken, and like having to break certain like Taken bubbles in order to give your team room to maneuver, and things like that. I think this time around it was a very solid strike. I think the boss encounter was really cool with the falling levels, and having to adapt to different terrain changes.
That was crazy.
Yeah. And it definitely brings in some light raid mechanics, not like crazy ones that you're gonna, you know, get frustrated with because you're not able to coordinate with somebody. Because I mean, let's be honest, not everybody is able to talk on a strike, or do they want to, but they're simple enough where you can happening, but they're just complicated enough where it's like that could happen in a raid if you've never done a raid. You to get better with those mechanics for, you know, if you do eventually want to hop into a raid.
They're definitely.
I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, I definitely got the feeling with the strike that it felt quite an all-rounder. So I think they were testing a couple of different things in there for sure. So I think they were looking at, I think they kind of, like you're saying, they made it slightly more raid-ish as well, just so they could just maybe see how people react as well, rather than just putting a raid in the beta. So yeah, very good. And then finally, the campaign. What do you think?
I think they got it off to a really good start, being kicked off of the tower. Not fun. But that I think they did a really good job. It's clear that they're going into a very narrative-driven portion this time for story, which is, believe me, a very welcome change from Destiny 1. Destiny.
I love seeing the different characters in combat as well.
Yeah. Somebody pointed that out, where like this is the first time you've actually seen them engine in combat, like doing heroic things, and like that only fits with the atmosphere of making you seem like a hero, and all for it to then culminate in it crashing all down around you. I think they did a really good job of the pacing to build you up, because while the city is under attack, doing heroic things, do this. They're pushing through. I can push through. And then to just smack you down like that. If that's what the story is, I think they're gonna nail it this time.
Yeah, no, I very much enjoyed what I played of the campaign. I really like the way I really like the way you saw all the different guys from the first game, and to see them in action, and just even the guy who runs the Crucible, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Lord Shax.
That's him. Just seeing him open the door for you into his armory, and just things like that. I just was like,
with
that's
his
awesome.
blazing sword on his back.
Yeah, that's got to be a bit hot, you know. So, and I just like the way that when you lost all your powers, that you got kicked over, and you went and it was the way he grabbed his ghost as well, or she grabbed her ghost. There was this real kind of little kid thing about it, you know, where you're very powerless and sort of thing like that. And the way he just kind of clawed the ghost into him, I really liked it. I think it's going to be a really interesting way that they set it up, and the way they execute what you're going to do. Because I guess that you're going to hopefully get your light back and your powers back. And is that going to be when you can start playing multiplayer? Are you going to be able to play multiplayer before? Hopefully they will be able to. But
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see whether your Guardian is separate in PvP than it is in the campaign. It'll be interesting to see how they balance that and what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I like that kind of alludes to the fact that the light back, you don't know how yet, but you're going to get it back in some way, shape, or form. I really like that too. I agree with you where there's this desperation of your light is gone and you realize, oh no, armor is gone. Like my invincibility factor is gone and I'm mortal again. And I like that they invoke that in the player.
Yeah, I think they just did a wonderful job with, like I said before, just when he pulls the ghost into him, there's something so vulnerable about the way they did that. I was just like, yeah, okay, that's so good. That's just very clever. But I thought visually, I thought it looked fantastic. I mean, you're playing on a pro now, aren't you, Kev?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to try it in 4K this mainly because of housing issues. But I played it on my 55-inch HD TV out there, and like it looks really good. I mean, there is a noticeable improvement over. I mean, it still looks like Destiny. Like, thinking about the Titan shield. When you put the Titan shield down and the shield is taking damage, you start to see the cracks in the shield. Same with the bubble. When the bubble is taking a lot of damage, there are now indicators in the bubble when you start to see like little holes starting to form in the armor in the bubble as it's breaking down. I think it's the little minute details that they really nailed in the visual.
Like if you zoom in on your armor that you've got as well. I mean, there's some armor that you pick up a bit different from playing the different modes like Crucible and Strike. Even with the Bayo, you zoom in on some of those, and the detail that they've put onto some of this armor is fantastic. Just like little kind of coding words and just like numbers and just all these different kind of little logos and different things. It's really good. The one complaint I have with it is there's some serious shoulder pads on the Titan. They've gone very 80s with their shoulder pads on the Titan, and I hope that different armor is available when it comes to that.
Yeah,
they're a bit extreme, I would say. So.
Yeah, I noticed that with some of the armor design. So like, there's one where there's one set of armor that has like really skinny arms, like it just looks like you have a long sleeve shirt on,
Right. Okay.
like the arms of a long sleeve shirt, and then the torso of it looks like you're wrapped around in a towel. So like it's
Yeah.
this bulky thing around your body, but then your arms are like this skinny little thing. And it's like,
Yeah. Some of the things look. It looks slightly
yeah,
out of proportion, doesn't it? Really, my dog is 6 months old now, and he kind of looks like him. He's got like massive paws and long legs and a big nose and massive ears and a small head, and it doesn't quite look right. And I thought that when I was looking at my Titan, I was like, it doesn't quite look right, but we shall see. I'm sure they got plenty of armor to suit people's tastes, so we shall see.
yeah. I'm sure they've got a lot of options. That we only had access to like 2 or 3 different sets of armor per character. So
yeah, I think it was
I would hope
three.
more than that.
I think I definitely got 3 different types. That's for sure. So
there's the base armor, and then there are 2 different types of armor that can drop.
There's one that looks very similar to the base, and then there's one that's I think it's a Vanguard armor.
Yeah, yeah. There's one that's like specific to PvP, one specific to PvE.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, no, I really like what I played, and I'm really looking forward to it now. It's very much more Destiny, but that's exactly what I want. But I like some of the tweaks. I'm not sure about some of the tweaks, but I think it'll all get ironed out, and I think it will be an exciting little game.
Yeah, the one thing I wish they let us do was like a sandbox up a patrol, to see some of the quote unquote open world stuff they've got. But outside of that, I mean, while I still kind of have some gripes with it, like I do think the PvP aspect is being pushed a little too hard, and I am worried that it's going to bleed into PvE, since they don't differentiate between PvE versus PvP weapons or anything like that.
Yeah, it's the whole thing with the supers as well, having a light, and yeah, I'll be interested to see how they balance it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like I am optimistic about it because I'm optimistic from a PvE perspective. I think they've done a really good job with not only the strike design but the story that they're trying to tell. At least from that first mission. I mean, it could all go to poop after that, but from what I've played in that beta, I'm really looking forward to PvE. PvP, I am very worried about, because I feel like there were certain changes and concessions made for player friendly when I was needed before. Like just for a quick aside, like my biggest gripe with Control, at like for example, they cap point depending on where you spawn for you in the beginning. Understand their thought process in that, saying like, well, most teams end up capping that point anyway, or if they don't do that, then they get confused if they're not playing on a team as to whether they should go for B point or C point or what have you. But my argument to that is, and they're not being effective players, and it's not your job to teach them how to be an effective player. It's on the player to become better and to get a team to strategize with, or to learn how they will deal with certain things if they're going into a solo queue. But I don't think it's on the developer to try to influence how players should approach the game type outside of the confines of the mode that they've developed. So that's like my biggest gripe with Control. But again, we'll see, because again, this was only a vertical slice of what the final product is going to be.
Well, that's it, and that's what people have got to remember with it. It's not the final product, and one thing we have learned from them that they will adapt and they will go with the community, and I think the game will, while it will be more of a complete game than the first game. I think it will be it will evolve, and I think those gripes about the numbers for PvP, I think will change. I can see that happening, no problem. So
Right.
I think it will be really interesting to see how the game evolves over the next once it comes out, the few months, maybe even the next year that it comes out. Which version did you go for? Because you pre-ordered it, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. I got the deluxe version, so the $99 version that comes with the game and the two uh DLCs for I guess it's technically year four of
Mm.
Destiny.
Yeah, so it's
Um
the two expansions, I think they call them.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
so
So they've got a high-end version, which that comes with a couple of other bits and bobs. But I think it's probably for like what, $10 more,
I
maybe.
think it's a little more than that because I think the physical version of like the expensive one comes with like a custom steel Cabal steel book and some other trinkets that it comes
Mm.
with along with it. So, but I think that's a little more. Like I'm thinking 120, 130, but I could be making that up. I don't have the number right in front of me. Down there.
Yeah, and I picked up the same version
Um,
as you, which was I buy most of my games digitally, so it was like the middle tier. I didn't need any of the extra kind of skins and so on. I mean, we're
yeah,
as PlayStation owners, we're getting a bit extra anyway. So we're getting, as I was talking to you before, it looks like it's a sniper rifle, 3 sets of armor, a ship, and what else did we have? Was it a strike and then a PvP map as well? So I think we're getting a nice little extra um,
yeah.
on
Um,
top of
I
that.
think they've confirmed that will be. I mean, it's a typical marketing exclusive stuff for PlayStation,
Mm,
but I think they've already confirmed that that will be only for between now and fall 2018.
yeah,
So
yeah,
PlayStation players and PC players will get that stuff in 2018.
yeah. Mm,
Yeah.
cool,
All right.
lovely.
Well, anything else you want to add? Just
No,
excited.
yeah, just very excited. Just looking forward to it. Looking forward to get my hands on it, and it's deciding what games to play in the meantime for me at the moment. So I've got a couple on the go. So, but we've got a big sale on at the UK at the moment with PlayStation digitally. There's a lot on offer, so I think I might be spending what money I have left after all the bills are paid and everything else is paid for. Yeah, I might see what I can pick up. So, any recommendations, just let us know, guys, at the end in the chat, or leave a comment with that recommendations.
Well,
Would be good.
definitely do that. I will again preach the good word of Lawbreaker since the beta is out this weekend. Try it. If you don't like it, at least you didn't pay for it.
I
I
think I
think it's a
like it.
really solid game.
Yeah, I think it's right
It
up
is
my
pretty
street.
good.
So I'm looking forward to that. So I could definitely give that a go.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 13 of the Trophy Life podcast. Chris, where can people find you on the interweb?
They can find me on Twitter at Stubbsy Viking, because they won't let me have the word "the" in there. So Stubbsy Viking. There'll be a link on the Trophy Life podcast Twitter handle, I think, probably like that. Yeah, just guys, just hit me up. And I'm also Stubbsy the Viking on PSN as well. So if anyone wants to have a game of anything, just let me know. And yeah, it'd be great to catch up. And thanks, Kev, for hosting tonight. And Nick, we miss you. and hopefully we'll be the fearsome threesome again soon.
Well, yeah, we definitely miss Nick. Again, wishing you and your family the best right now. If you want to follow Nick on social media, he is at Nicodemus_X on Twitter. You can also find him at Nicodemus on YouTube. Find him. He is the king of indies, and I'm pretty sure you want to be a part of the king of indies on YouTube. You can follow me at Dark Tagger on Twitter, and that is also my PSN. And you can follow Trophy Life at trophylife_pod. Thank you all again for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on YouTube. Make sure to like the episode if you enjoyed it. If you have any game recommendations, leave those in the comments. So if there's anything we can improve upon, we do read them. We do appreciate them. And with that, we will be back in 2 weeks with another episode. Thanks for bearing with us, rambling on about Destiny. And everybody have a good night.
Good night, everyone.